Let me welcome you on Health Issues Podcast, a podcast where we discuss several medical conditions. Our last discussion, we were discussing fistula, and today we will be discussing polio. You are with me, Liv Nisinchoka, the editor and the producer of the program, and my guest who will be taking us through polio is Mr. Gift Josan. Welcome, Mr. Josan.
Thank you very much.
All right. Let's not take much time here. Let's start with, can you tell us what is polio, Mr. Josan?
Polio is a highly infectious disease and is mostly caused by polio virus. And that polio most of the time is well known by leading to paralysis, muscle weakness, and potential death. So that's what the definition of polio. The overview of it, we can say it has been a very troublesome disease up to the extent that the following statistical measures as liberated by WHO. 99% reduction in polio cases since 1988. 33 polio endemic countries in 1988. So statistically, as I was saying, that in addition to the data I presented, there is again 72% of global population live in polio-free region. That's what the statistical figures are up to date recently. And in addition to that, we have got again new polio vaccine, novel or polio vaccine introduced, and the WHO declares polio a public health emergency of international concern. That was in 2014. And we have been continuing giving vaccine during the COVID-19 pandemic, alongside with the vaccine for COVID-19 as well. Those are some of the recent information that we need to know about polio as one of the infectious conditions that characterized by paralysis, weakness, and potential deaths.
Okay, I overheard that that polio has several types. If this is true, what are some of these types of polio?
There are 3 types of polio caused by the very same polio virus. We have got spinal polio, which is most very common. We have got the bulbar polio affecting brain stem. And we have got non-paralytic polio, which is mild and symptomatic, which liberates mild symptom. Spinal polio is the most common because this one will attack the spinal cord, and most of the time people will die, and it affects those people who have not been well vaccinated. We'll be seeing about those kind of things as we go down our discussion. The bulbar polio affects the brain stem. So if the brain stem was being attacked, it will behave like meningitis, whereby the meninges have been attacked, but this one, it attacks the brain stem. That means you will not be able to think, even grow, because the brain, it plays a very big role in as far as human being is concerned. And this one, non-paralytic polio, is already by the mild symptom, but might develop to the 2 symptom types that we have said above there. Those are the 3 types of polio.
Now, let's look at transmission. How can this polio be transmitted?
This disease is transmitted by fecal oral route. It behaves like cholera. When you have taken or when you have come in contact with fecal matter of someone who is harboring polio virus, the chances for you to be in situation of having polio is high, because the fecal matter most of the time is carried by the carrier, the vectors. In this case, we are talking of the tsetse flies, or you're taking care of someone else who is polio, but you are not taking care of them very seriously. So long at last, you end up. Another mode of transmission is through contaminated water or food. How can water or food be contaminated? The very same through the way if you are not taking care of our hygiene properly. So we end up having contaminants from the fecal matters of one who is having polio. If we come in contact with fecal matters of the one who is having the polio without washing our hands, we end up contaminating our food or even water. As such, if others get in contact or coming to ingest those food and take that water, the chances for them to get the infection is very high, because they have consumed contaminated food or water having been handled with polio containing fecal matters. Another transmission mode is person-to-person contact. Person-to-person contact shall imply that if someone else who is having polio virus and he becomes in contact with someone else who is clean, is not having that, the chances for this one to get the polio virus is high, especially when the person is not vaccinated. So vaccination plays a very big role in terms of person-to-person contacts. It is important that we observe all those kind of methodologies or those kind of talks, so that we should prevent this kind of the transmission of this infection. Those are the three areas how this poliomyelitis is transmitted.
All right, now what are these clinical manifestations of polio?
Polio, most of the time, the key markers are the ones that I already put above there, like muscle weaknesses, paralysis. Those are the most important markers in as far as polio is concerned. The patient will experience muscle weaknesses, and you become so paralysis. You fail to handle anything. You become very weak in terms of muscularity. Another thing is you exhibit some pains or stiffness of the neck. The neck will become so stiff. When you bend it on that side, it will be on that side for a long time. Even the back can be stiff. Even the limb can be stiff. So painful or stiffness of the neck, of the back, and the limb, those are the key markers that much more we observe in poliomyelitis. In addition to that, as a normal of it, when the disease has entered in the body, other systems are compromised, like the GIT. As such, the patient might have experienced vomiting. Vomiting can be liberated because the muscles are so weak, so they fail to hold the gut. As such, the uvula become exposed. In so doing, the vomiting is likely to take place. Sore throat, because the muscles, they are failing to, especially the larynx, and we said that the muscles are so weak, it is flabby enough, it is not active, so the chances for it to develop into throat is very high. A headache is a reaction of the brain. I will say that there is a spinal one, and another types of one. The bubbler polio attacks the brain stem. Brain stem has been attacked. As such, the head will react to that kind of attack. Fever will come as a normal thing because it will be reacting to the virus that has entered in the body. because it is being considered as a foreign organ. As such, the antibody will be formed. In so doing, that reaction between the antibody and the virus will liberate fever. Those are the key points in terms of clinical presentation of this patient. But the most notable one is neck stiffness, paralysis, and muscle weaknesses.
All right, listeners, in case you're just joining us, in today's program, we are discussing polio. Mr. Josam is the one who is taking us through this medical condition. So be there and let's learn what polio is. Now, let's go to diagnosis.
On diagnosis, this disease is a simple disease. It's a complicated disease, but it can be diagnosed easily. In laboratory, they take the stool or blood samples. Those are the two samples that are supposed to be submitted to the laboratory. When they took the stool, it is analyzed, probably through, can be rapid test or can be through culture. Blood as well can be done, it is done as a blood culture. So when there's a growth, it will be analyzed according to their protocols, and the results can be given as negative or positive. And most of the time we don't say polio, we say acute flaccid paralysis, AFP. So it is liberated as acute flaccid paralysis positive or acute flaccid paralysis negative. That's for laboratory. Number 2 is the physical examination. Looking at the marker that I already said, that is the neck stiff. Is there any muscle weaknesses? Are there any lethargic one? Is the patient exhibiting some other clinical presentation like we put it there? As well, we have to look at the community where this individual is staying. We said that this condition is much more, it comes as an outbreak. As such, being an outbreak, we need to find out the geographical position of that area. Do the individual suspected coming from area whereby we have got difficulty in terms of water sources? Are there any conditions that we have been encountered, like related to waterborne infection or fecal matter related like so? So all those kind of things will make us to make a decision. And in addition to that, imaging studies, MRI or CT scan, magnetic resonance imaging or computer tomography scan can be done in terms of that one, the bulbar polio, which attacks the brain stem. So those are some of the diagnostic measures that are used to come up with the good diagnosis of poliomyelitis.
From what you have said, Mr. Josam, you have said that this disease can be simply diagnosed. So, what can be the treatment of this disease?
This disease is a bit hectic in terms of its management, because, as I said, it is very, very, very cumbersome to treat because of its nature, because it weakens all the muscle part of the body and it can attack very important organs. So treatment in this case is supportive care. Supportive care in terms of rest. Patient must be given enough time to have rest. Rest will help to regeneration of cells as well as increase performance of the cells. Number 2 is hydration. The patient might exhibit with vomiting. Vomiting will result into electrolyte imbalance. So we need to make sure that we